So if your grandfather on your mother's side is bald, does that mean you're destined to be bald as well? Does trimming your hair actually make it grow faster? What about using a blow dryer? Does it actually damage your hair? In today's video, gents, we're talking hair. We're going to look at the research, we're going to look at some commonly held beliefs, and we're going to find out, do those beliefs hold up to the science? First up, let's talk about hair loss and the belief that the genes that cause hair loss are passed to a man by his mother. Personally, I've heard this multiple times and I believed it because my father is bald, but my grandfather on my mother's side has his hair. And that's how false beliefs get started, because you see something that confirms your own experience. A population of one, though, in an experiment, that's not how it works. So I went into the Journal of Genetics, found a 2017 study that had over 52,000 participants. Now, in the study, they identified over 250 independent genetic loci associated with severe hair loss. What that means is there are 250 factors that figure into male pattern baldness. And just to further confirm this, they interviewed a dermatologist over at Columbia University and they asked him specifically, is it associated with the mother? And he's like, no, that is a myth. That is a false belief. There are a lot more factors that go into this. That being said, the androgen receptor gene is linked to the X gene. Therefore, there is a slightly higher chance of baldness coming from the mother. So gents, there you go. You can't only blame your mom's side of the family for your hair loss. And guys, let's talk about hair loss, because whether it comes from your mom or your dad, 2 out of 3 men start to experience some form of hair loss before age 35. And gents, if this is you, if you're starting to experience any signs of hair loss, you need to take action now and check out Keeps, the paid sponsor of today's video. If you haven't heard of Keeps, it's an amazing product that's 90% effective for reducing and stopping hair loss. And guys, it's important that you act fast. As soon as you start to see hair loss, you want to start using this product because it can stop it at that point right there. Now, here's how it works. You go to their website, you sign up, it takes less than 5 minutes. Next up, you answer a few questions, snap some photos of your hair. A licensed physician will review your information online and recommend the right treatment for you, prescribed meds shipped to your door every 3 months. You get everything on your schedule. No waiting rooms, no pharmacies, no checkout lines. And let's talk about price. Keeps is incredibly affordable, depending on the product you choose, from $10 to $35 a month. Gents, if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/RMRS to receive 40% off your first order. Again, that's keeps.com/RMRS. Next up, is there a product to help a man grow his hair faster, grow his hair longer? So there's a lot of information out there that's making promises that a man can grow his hair faster, a man can grow his hair longer. The reality is, if you're a healthy individual, your hair is growing as fast as it will ever grow, which is about 1/2 inch per month. Now, what about all these vitamins and supplements you can take? Vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, zinc, iron, biotin. Well, these supplements can help, especially in the first phase of hair growth. But this is where things can get confusing, so let me give you a quick lesson on hair. Human hair has 3 stages of growth. First up, we've got the anagen stage. This is going to be from about 2 to 8 years in time, and this is active growth. This is when the hair is growing in length and when those vitamins, when those supplements are most important, because a lack of them can cause this phase to then go into the second phase. Now, the catagen phase lasts about 4 to 6 weeks, and this is where your hair basically is steady. It stops growing. Finally, you've got the telogen phase. This is when the hair falls out. Perfectly normal. On a regular day, you'll lose 100 hairs this way. Now, based off my research, there's no way once you leave phase 1 and you go into phase 2 to actually go back. So that's the thing. And all of these supplements, what they're doing is they're keeping your hair healthy and trying to keep it in stage 1. So in summary, the speed of your hair growth determined by genetics, how long your hair is going to grow determined by your health, and how long you can keep your hair in stage number 1, that growth stage. Next up, let's address the common belief that blow dryers damage your hair. So I did my research on this and found a 2011 study in the Journal of Dermatology, and they compared blow drying to natural hair drying. They actually had 5 different ways that they tested, but basically the extreme was going hardcore with the blow dryer, having that heat up close to your head, versus just letting your hair naturally dry. What were the results? Now, as you can imagine, the heat from the blow dryer did cause surface damage on the hair, but this is where it gets interesting. Whenever you moved the blow dryer about 6 inches or 15 centimeters from the hair and you moved it back and forth, all of a sudden that damage became really non-existent, and it was actually more damaging to use a towel on your head than it was to actually use a blow dryer. Next up, let's talk about the common belief that stress causes gray hair. What does the research say? So I found an article over in the Harvard Health blog, and it was talking about stress. Does it cause graying? And the answer is no. But what stress does do is it causes you to shed your hair faster, 3 times faster. So you can expect if you're dealing with a lot of stress, you will start to go bald. So what does cause your hair to turn gray? Well, past a certain age, your hair follicles stop producing the color that we see in the follicle normally, and it's a natural occurrence in all human beings. In fact, it's perfectly normal for anyone past the age of 35, men and women, to start seeing gray in their hair. And of course, there are certain conditions like a vitamin B12 deficiency or even a thyroid infection, which can also start to make the hair gray. Now, what about the belief that trimming your hair is going to help it grow faster? The speed in which your hair grows is determined by genetic factors, and assuming that you're a healthy person, your hair is growing as fast as it can. And to back this up, there was a 1970 study out of the Journal of Investigative Dermatology where they had men shave their legs and then measure growth. They could find no proof that hair, whenever it was cut, whenever it was shaved, would grow any faster. Now, that false belief segues into this next one. Can you repair split ends? Now, if you've got short hair, you probably never thought about split ends, but if your hair is longer, you know what I'm talking about. Now, let's look at a microscopic image of a hair that is split. It's almost like wood has been taken and splintered. When you start to get split ends in your hair, all of a sudden it becomes brittle, it becomes harder to work with. So this brings us back to the question, can you fix split ends? The answer is no, but there are products out there that can help encapsulate it. And one of the best things you can do, we talked about in the last point actually, is to trim the hair. This is where you want to regularly cut the ends of the hair. It'll get rid of those split ends and it will keep it strong. Next up, we've got the common belief, if you've got oily hair, you need to wash it every day. The reality is, if you wash that hair every day and you remove the oil, guess what? Your body is going to react and is going to produce even more oil. So how to get around this? Well, first up, you've got to understand, where is this oil coming from? So it's not coming from the hair, it's coming from the scalp. When we get down and we look at the skin on the scalp, we see that glands in the skin produce the oily substance called sebum. Sebum is what moistens hair and keeps it from drying out. So the amount of sebum that you produce is affected by your genetics and your hormones. It may be that you got a hormonal imbalance and you may want to change up your diet, go speak with a doctor to see if we can get this into balance, and all of a sudden you will have less oily hair. And let's talk about washing. You don't have to wash your hair with shampoo every single day. I'm not saying that you can't rinse it with water. That's a good thing. But you don't want to be using a harsh shampoo that's going to strip away all the oil every time you bathe. Look for a shampoo that's going to be gentler, or look to also use a conditioner, which is basically going to go in there and add a bit of moisture back onto the hair. And what about the belief that wearing a hat causes you to lose your hair? True, false? Guys, find out in this video right here. I talk about 10 things that guys do that destroys their hair, that could be causing them to go bald. And I'm not going to ruin it for you. I will say I do have research on it and I thought it was interesting. Find out, guys. Check the video out right here. I will link to it in the description.